Hi there, my name is Jamie Goring, and I have your student in Honors Geometry this year. I love teaching Honors Geometry. This is my 5th or 6th year teaching Honors Geometry, and it is absolutely my favorite class to teach. I started at Rockford in 2018, so I have a little bit of experience with lots of different math classes here, from algebra, pre-algebra, geometry, honors geometry, and some flipped classes even. And the students that I work with, the curriculum that I work with in honors geometry has to be my favorite. It's a huge adjustment for students when they start this class. And I know that if it's the beginning of the year right now, your student might be freaking out a little bit because it is harder. It is more difficult than they're used to. And I want to give you some resources and some expectations of ways that we can help cut down on that stress for students who come in having taken all math classes that were very easy for them, and now they're not quite sure what to do to develop their studying skills once they really need to put those to use. So in this class, students really mostly need a pencil because we do most of our work on paper. We will take our quizzes online, so they'll need their Chromebook. And we do have a classroom set of graphing calculators. So if your student doesn't have their own, that's completely fine. If they want one, feel free to talk to me about what models of graphing calculators would be good for them. We do most of our communication through Schoology, and I will show you my Schoology page for this class after we go over the expectations, because there are a lot of resources on there that students can use. Grading is where my class tends to differ from the other geometry classes and other classes in general. The only grading categories we have are tests and quizzes. Tests are 70% of the final grade, and quizzes are 30% of the final grade. Quizzes will happen every 2 sections. So if we do section 1 and 2, we'll take a quiz after that. And then section 3 and 4, we take a quiz after that. And following along, which means that there are quite a few quiz grades, usually around 15 quiz grades per trimester. This means that student quizzes are not individually a huge grade hitter because there are so many quizzes in the gradebook that they tend to all even out. I also drop the lowest quiz grade at the end of every trimester. So if a student did take a particularly bad quiz, that won't be counted in their final grade calculations. And then finally, for that quiz category, we get a small extra credit assignment, usually 3 to 5 points every chapter. And all of the extra credit points that students earned are added to their quiz grade category. So if they are getting lower grades than they'd like on the quizzes, they tend to get padded out a little bit by those extra credit assignments. On tests, the students are allowed 2 test retakes per trimester. We usually have 5 tests per trimester. So if they feel they did very badly on 2 of them or up to 2 of them, they can definitely retake those tests or a similar version of those tests. Only thing that is required is they come in before or after school to go over their old test with me so that we know what they need to study before they take their retake. And then that higher test grade, whichever one it is the one that I will put in the grade book. What you might have noticed about the grading scale is that practice or homework is not a grading category. In honors geometry, I don't grade homework. The students have lots of practice problems, but it is their responsibility to do them. And I have a couple of reasons for this. Mainly, I want students to be able to get instant feedback. If they get a problem and they want to know whether they've done it right or not, all of the answer keys are posted online so they can check and see how they did. Also, my problems in the homework assignments tend to be really hard sometimes. I do not expect students to know and get correct every problem in homework. I think that having them try it and stretch their brains and work up to the highest possible level that they could is really important. So if a student is struggling on a homework problem, they are absolutely encouraged to check that problem on the assignment or on the assignment answer key on Schoology. And if they don't understand it, I have recorded videos for every homework assignment that talk about how to do every problem. So students are responsible for their own problems rather than me being responsible for grading them or looking at them. I just think it's easier. It gives students more feedback, and they're able to understand the problems in their own time without waiting for us to go over it in class. Students tend to be okay with this, but if you notice that your student has consistently got not filled in worksheets, is skipping problems, that would be something to discuss with them. Students know all about the behavior rules and everything else. Nothing too new and revolutionary there. And then just so you know, I am here most days before school and after school. So if your student needs help before school or after school, just have them arrange a time with me and I'll be able to give them some one-on-one help and make sure they understand the material that we're going over. If you ever have any questions or concerns, I can be reached through my email or through a Schoology message. I'm usually pretty responsive to messages, and I'll be able to get back to you within the day. I also wanted to show you the Schoology page for this class, talk about some of the resources in here. So if we go into topic 1, there will be an online review in here that is for before the test or after the test, however, whenever they need it in order to understand the material. That one is optional. We have the quizzes that they'll take every other section. There is the answer keys for all of the homework assignments. So every homework assignment has an answer key in here, explained and worked out, and students can take a look at these whenever they need to. There's also a link to the videos, so the videos for every answer key that students can watch if they need to. If a student needs extra practice, I also have this list of extra practice assignments. There is at least one for each section. They'll take the student to Savvas, which is our online math platform, and they'll be able to work through some problems as well as get extra help, like seeing examples and getting walked through the problems step by step. Those are also optional, so if students want to use them, they can. If they don't need to, that's okay too. And then there's a folder for the completed notes for every chapter. So if your student is gone for a day and they need to write the notes down that they've missed and they don't want to wait to come in and copy them from another student, they can absolutely look in Schoology and find those completed notes as well. So we work really hard in honors geometry to help students feel prepared, help students feel like they have enough resources, even if it's going to be somewhat stressful or a little bit frustrating for them, especially at the beginning of the year, since they are new to maybe having to put in that effort for a math class. It is for sure not your student who is alone if they are feeling that way. And have them come to me, encourage them to come to me if they are feeling overwhelmed, and we'll be able to put a plan in place to help them out. And that goes for any time throughout the year. Thank you so much for listening. And of course, if you've got any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to let me know. Have a fantastic